Hello, everyone. Floyd Zuber here, and I've been watching Virginia's Governor Bumpkin pursuing the Republican holy grail of making the rich folks richer by convincing the indoctrinated party faithful that the newest cash crop is uneducated citizens. The whole idea is to privatize education and remove or ignore any semblance of regulation. Don't forget the Republican mantra: regulation is bad for business. But who gives a shit about students anyway? So, you want to privatize education. Privatization is supposed to be a comfortable sounding word intended for Republican audiences only, especially their supporters. That's because they really don't know any better. They've been raised and indoctrinated to accept, without question, the authority of the party. Usually, there's no best interest for those individuals. Not that they could make any distinctions anyway. Maybe you haven't noticed, but the language isn't all that different when large corporations want to merge and give the made-up excuse that it's in the best interest of the consumer. They always talk about reducing prices and increasing quality. That never happens. The lapses in the collective short-term memory of all Republicans about their fiscal failures and other shortcomings are a puzzling natural phenomenon. It's a mystery that understanding has never been realized. It's as if you went to a privatized school and got what you paid for: nothing. But the privatized school gets to keep the profit. So the Younkin administration can't identify any real problems with the Virginia education system, let alone try to fix them. Republicans use the approach that if you can't fix a problem, ignore it with privatization. Republicans also have a knack for creating problems, like cut the budget for education, or you can reduce teacher salaries, or how about banning books? That works sometime too. Deny the proper allocation of resources? If that doesn't work, you send Republican goons to harass educators. Got that? If you stayed awake during class, someone could have taught you about the origins of privateers and its transition to privatization. Britain, in the late 1700s and early 1800s, commissioned private individuals to engage in acts that were intended to prevent piracy. They became known as privateers. There were stipulations as to the conduct of these privateers, supposedly with some sort of implied ethical behavior, like regulations: wink, wink, nod, nod. If the privateers exceeded their charter, they were supposed to be punished. That didn't happen much. It kind of fits into the category of how you Republicans don't want to impose regulations on the companies that gouge, fleece, defraud, and pollute the public. The claim about regulation and doing what's right for the public is always, it's bad for business. But it seems to be the modus operandi to leave citizens in whatever lurch Republicans create for us. The whole idea of privateering boiled down to simple highway robbery on the high seas. Actually, it's in the classroom now. That idea certainly caught on in a number of other circumstances if you take a look at how corporations have been able to accumulate wealth and the political clout that accompanies that wealth. You have to ask why Republicans are so intent on making accommodations to these modern-day pirates, privateers, profiteers. It's always about profit. It's never been about anything else. And nothing will be learned, either by students or Republicans. When Republicans are in power, privatization is the only solution that they can muster. It's as if they went to one of their privatized schools where they never learned anything. The other adage is the one about owning only a hammer, so you treat everything like a nail. Republicans have no imagination or creativity to come up with unique solutions. The thinking process has never graduated beyond the Reagan years. They're still stuck on trickle-down economics. We've all been waiting more than 40 years and haven't seen any benefits from it. But the rich folks seem to be doing just fine. One of the tenets in the preamble to the Constitution of the United States is to promote the general welfare. Now, legalizing piracy against citizens in favor of corporations. That's the Republican way. That's endorsed by Younkin. In reading the For Public Education article, Younkin's privatization team makes its move on Virginia's public schools. It's clear to me, anyway, that the Younkin approach is unconstitutionally clear. It persists in the strategy of ignoring people's right to petition the government for redress of grievances. They occasionally listen just before they completely ignore you. Privatization, it's not a fix. It's an excuse to plunder. For those of you who are interested, below is the title of the article and the link to it if you're interested in reading the For Public Education article.